Hello, everybody. This is Tyler with Lustera, doing an interview for the Tour podcast. I have a guest, Brad Gustafson. Brad is a friend of ours. We've known him for quite a while now. I don't want to. I'm going to let him talk about that though. So, Brad, first of all, how do you know the band? How are you connected to us? Who do you know? Who do you like? Who do you dislike? Who's got the prettiest eyes?
I hate the drummer's haircut. No, I'm just kidding.
Who doesn't?
Love the drummer's haircut. So I've known Mike and Andrew probably the longest. They started hanging out with me and playing music for our church maybe about 5 years ago now. And shortly after that, met Tyler. That's yourself, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
That is
so,
me.
We've just been hanging out at church, doing ministry stuff for the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Got a chance to meet Chris maybe about a year ago now, and just enjoying seeing the band kind of connect with each other and seeing your guys' story just kind of grow almost as a family unit. It's kind of cool to see all your different stories and how you guys are separated, and seeing Lustera from its inception, from Tyler when you and Mike sat there and said, hey, let's play music together, to where it was at the other night at your opening tour show. It's just funny to see your guys' journey, how you guys are gelling as a band, and musically and even relationally with each other. It's a pretty special thing to see. So yeah, man, I've been friends with you guys for a while now, and love seeing where you guys are at.
Cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, we love. So Brad, I will say is like, he's an actual friend of ours. Like, he's not just some guy like we know. Like, we go to church. Well, some of us go to church together with him. He's met everyone in the band. Tour, because you usually start your tour at home, or generally that's what we try to do, and what all our friends in local bands do. I don't know what everyone else is doing, but most of the independent bands I know and underground bands are doing it that way. It's just easier. So, I looked around at venues in the city and stuff, places that we've played before in Chicago, because we're actually in the suburbs. But I've been trying forever to do something local to the actual suburbs that we're in, because since this is our first extended tour for Lustera, it was really important to us, I think, that we had friends and family there that a lot of times can't make it to the city. And there's really not a lot of options in Palatine or Arlington Heights. You've got these two big venues out here that you have to get. It's very hard to get in on, and you have to get in as like an opening act for a national touring act, and those are first come, first serve, and it's very difficult to even get a response when you're booking yourself. So Mike and I sort of tossed around the idea of, the church has space, and depending on the day, what if we just asked Brad if we could have permission to play there, and then figure something out with him. And I remember going to church one Sunday and going up to Brad, and I was surprised because I thought I was going to have to sell it a lot more than I did. I was prepared to. I was like, but he was pretty much right away. He was like, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Like, I just have to figure out if the church is free that night and stuff. And then he pretty much gave us free, once we confirmed it, he gave us free reign to pretty much do everything that we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. And that's that's probably a perk of it being our church, but that does not happen when you go play most shows. So, like, we were able to have probably the most fun I've ever had playing any show with this band because we got to do it there. So, but yeah, Brad helped make it a successful night. So, yeah, there were a lot of, I couldn't see everyone out there, but like, there were a lot of people we knew, right?
There's a ton of people you knew, and again, first off, I want to say that it was not a problem at all to have Lustera play at the church. Not only just because of the stories that you guys have behind your music, and if you listen to the lyrics that Andrew sings,
there's a dishwasher in the background. Sorry, that's okay. I'm just letting people know.
the songs you guys write and the stories you guys share within your music and the heart behind it, quite frankly, it just fits with the younger generation, and even the older generation. And so it was not a problem to have you guys at the church, playing that venue. That building, that those people are part of your story. And so, in my opinion, it just kind of fit to have you guys jump in and start this huge new chapter of Lustera, with going on tour around the Midwest. I mean, I thought it was a perfect fit for you guys to do it kind of at the place where Lustera was, birthed. And so that was was our pleasure. It was probably the most fun I've ever had at a youth group event with doing it as a fundraiser. It was a ton of fun, and you guys as a band, it was kind of cool to see how you guys mingled with the crowd who follows Lustera, and you guys also mingled with the crowd that follows you guys as individuals who are part of the church. So yeah, I thought it fit really well. And I'll be honest with you, Tyler, I would not be surprised if here soon you guys have more opportunity in Palatine to, have shows, to have venues. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, and that's, again, just my opinion, that you guys have more opportunity to play shows around Palatine. Those harder to get in shows, maybe those bigger venues, I can see them picking you guys up here soon. So,
but I really appreciate the compliment. I know the guys do about like the way you said, like you see more opportunities for us. So not to massage the band's ego, but I'm just to feed my curiosity, but probably partly to massage our egos too. So like, what are you like why do you think that?
So for me, me being musical myself, growing up around music, I understand music theory. And the beautiful thing about Lustera, that you can see, is that you guys treat each one of your songs, and even on your new Farpoint CD that I've had in my car for the last 24 hours, listening to it nonstop, even that CD, hearing the composition that you guys start from the very beginning to the very end of each track, it's a story that you guys are sharing. And even Tyler, it's impressive hearing you switch up even your time signatures and that kind of thing within songs. And Mike is playing, in keys that are different. He's jumping around all over the place, but it's a beautiful sound. And Chris, my goodness, Chris is one of the best bass players I think I've ever heard. Just his ability to add.
Me too. I love Chris's bass playing.
His ability to add to the band in a completely beneficial and positive way while not being distracting is a gift. And so you can see, like I've seen so many, even you reference Home Bar, I've seen other venues at Palatine where, bands get up there and they play and they sound great. And I think I've been blessed to hear some really awesome music. But the complexity of what you guys write and what you guys play, in my opinion, is just a dessert for the ears of people who know music. And so that's, I believe that's my core. One of my favorite things you guys did even at last night's show was just the time that Mike got to sit there and just build a song from scratch with his loop pedals and that kind of thing. And just seeing his heart pour into that was just really cool. And I like how you guys switch up your sounds too. Lustera can melt your face off with Andrew screaming at some point, and you want to jump around and have a great time and just get energized. And then the next song you guys are playing, you're listening to almost a melody that just brings you down, and you're just kind of, I relate it to when I watch movies. All right, when I watch movies, I'm not a spectator, but I feel like I'm actually a part of the movie, and I'm actually like immersed within that scene. That's what I feel about your music. I feel like I'm immersed within this story that you guys are sharing as you guys start your first note to your last note.
Cool.
And I think that's just special. And I'm not massaging your ego. I just think that's special.
I really appreciate it, and like believe me when I say we take those kinds of compliments very humbly. We really do, because I play with a lot of bands that do similar things. We're all unique, but similar things in the underground scene here where we live, and I feel that way about so many of my friends' bands. And I'm like, man, I wish, like, man, I love that they're doing that, and like, we kind of set the bar for each other, and like, so to hear someone else say that, whether it's another band or a friend, say anything like that about us, it's just super validating, because you do put your like heart and soul into making the songs, right? Like you're like bearing yourself, your soul for people, and sometimes it's personal too. And then you mentioned like the story, like that's kind of how we try to do shows, whether they're small or big. I think all of us try to we're creating an experience, and like you said, that's where like Chris's gift of like doing really cool stuff that like adds a lot but doesn't take away from what you're supposed to be focusing on in the song, and like Mike doing that too. We kind of got lucky with getting this group of people because we've figured out how to balance each other out in those ways and complement each other.
I think what's cool about that is, you reference my reference of Chris, adding sound. What's really cool is that as you guys play music, it makes one sound.
Yeah.
And that might sound super deep and artsy fartsy and that kind of thing, but yeah, I think you really do. You make one sound that comes together, and it just sounds very. It's almost smooth to your ears, if that's.
Yeah, it's weird. Sense. It's weird how like such a harsh song can still be smooth, and like that's one of the reasons I'm drawn to it. Like some people don't get it, and I respect that. They're like, that's just noise, that's just yelling, and I'm like, yeah, that's. But if you're gonna approach everything that way, like looking at like art, like some people can see abstract art and be like, I see something really beautiful there, or they say that's just a bunch of paint splatters that aren't a real picture. Like, I don't know. So I like that like harsh noise, which we do a lot of, and like heavy gritty stuff can still come off as like tasteful. Another thing that I thought was really, that I think is something I'm proud of, is that the band does have a mix of personal beliefs and faiths and philosophies, and we've still been able to find common ground in the stories that we tell. I think there are underlying messages that I think just relate to anyone, and that's why we could play in a church that some band members go to, but we can also go play like dive bars and like DIY house show parties and stuff into these different crowds, and like it, like that blows. Like I didn't think I'd ever be in a band like that where I could like we don't want to be a niche band for one audience. We want to write music for everyone. So
look at the you guys drew last night at your at your opening show. I mean, literally, I don't know if this is gonna hurt your credentials as a band, but you had like little kids up in the front of your last night, and you had behind them, and you had 20-somethings, 30-somethings to your right, and then you had like literally, I bet you the spread of ages that you had at that show were, I mean, there's a 75-year-old at your show last night. So
that was my grandfather.
Was it your grandfather?
Yeah, my grandparents stopped by.
So you guys, yeah, you're reaching, a big crowd there age-wise. And two, I think what's amazing is that you guys have played at bars. You guys have played at areas where, there's just a cool experience, nightlife, that kind of thing. And then you guys played at a church. Like, that's a cool kind of covering of even your venues that you play to, and the fact that Lustera can communicate the same message across vast masses, that's pretty sweet.
I'll be honest. I was more nervous last night than any like I wasn't nervous at Home Bar at House Music Entertainment, and that was a huge venue, and I was super nervous last night because there were so many people. Like a few people I know is one thing. More than half the people there were people that Mike and Drew and I knew personally, that Chris knew personally, or that had been to shows more than once. Like it was like this. I was literally shaky last night. Now, part of that might be that we do mostly play in bars, and I am used to having like one or two beers before we play, and that does take the edge off a bit, and because it just calms you down. But so I wasn't used to like working all day, getting stuff set up, and then just drinking caffeinated soft drinks, and then that probably didn't help. But yeah, so other interesting thing, Brad is we're talking on FaceTime, but he's not coming to me from here in Palatine at his house or even at his office. He's on a trip right now. So where are you at, Brad?
Yeah, man. So we just jumped in 4 coach buses. So last night I'm with Lustera until like 10:30, 11 p.m. And this morning at 5 o'clock I woke up and we jumped in 4 coach buses and headed up north for our junior high summer camp. And what's really cool is actually, I didn't tell you this, Tyler, but I've got a couple students who are here who was at your show last night, and they asked the worship band if they could play some Lustera songs.
All right. is the house mixed for Lustera songs there? Is that
I mean
how big are your subs?
Bigger than what we had last night.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, pretty big arrays hanging up off the ceiling and that kind of thing. But yeah, so that is kind of funny that Lustera traveled to the northern woods of Wisconsin and in people's minds. So we're starting day one of summer camp, and it'll be a great week, and I'm excited to be here. And so I'm traveling, and you guys are traveling at the same time, doing two different things.
Cool. Oh, and another thing, you mentioned little kids that were here at the show last night. A lot of them were kids that I just knew their families, and I really like kids, so I tend to entertain other people's kids. But the first one who said hi to me when I got back from running some errands and people were just starting to get there was your daughter, who cracks me up. But she was like I was kind of stressed from I was running back because I was playing stage manager, production manager, stuff that I normally wouldn't do because we go to a venue, right? We created a venue out of the church last night, so I had to do all that stuff. But then Addie, your daughter, totally just calmed me down and gave me a little moment of joy there when I walked in. And she was like, "Hey, Tyler," she gets really excited when she sees people she knows. So it's I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good night. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. She had a blast. So it was her first concert. So yeah, it was fun to do that. Yeah, right?
It's gonna snowball from here, buddy. Yep, and like Brad said, we are leaving. That was the first show date of the tour technically, but today we have nothing. We're talking on the Friday between the Thursday show and the first Saturday show on the road. So we are leaving at 10 a.m. By the time this is released, we will already be on the road, and this will probably be released with the second episode at once. But we're going to Cleveland. Here's what's going on with me, Brad. Brad's been having car troubles with his Jeep lately. He's been pouring in money for repairs. Well, to a lesser extent, but still, right before you're going to leave for a 8-day or a 9-day long road trip down, we're going as far as New York and back, so we're driving a lot. I'm going to need to get an oil change midway through this trip. And then then there's one other thing, though. My license plates are technically suspended because apparently I got Illinois, man. They sent me this letter saying that I need to prove that I had insurance on the day that I renewed my license or renewed my plates. And I'm thinking, well, why didn't they just ask me at the DMV? But why would they? It's Illinois. So I had 30 days to do that, and I kind of just kept forgetting to do it. And so I got the letter a couple days ago saying your plates are suspended, and I opened that letter today. So they are suspended. I have $100 fine, so I'm gonna mail that in, and it'll get there by Monday. So it hopefully won't get pulled over before Monday. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Adulthood, Tyler, things like that, renew your license plates and that.
Oh man, yeah. I am the least responsible 30-year-old on the face of the planet. Anyway, well, I hope you have a awesome week at camp with the junior high kids. It's junior high kids for this one, right? Yeah. I've been to camp myself with middle school kids and high school kids as a leader, and it's gonna be the best week of their lives for some of them. There's something about that camaraderie, and it's really cool that that's what you do, and that Mike, our guitarist, actually does some of this work with Brad with the high school kids. So we're really connected in that way, and so we always wish the best for everything he's doing, and we really appreciate that he is always really supportive of our band. He's the one who gave us permission to do the show last night. He gave us permission to make a lot of changes to how the sound system was routed and set up. We were switching channels and tons of stuff. I was moving stage pieces from other rooms, taking out chairs. We were running fog. We fogged up the whole sanctuary.
It was fun, man. It was like an actual venue, dude. It was awesome. I loved it.
Yep.
It was great.
So, but it was a great night, and I wanted to say thank you. And it sounds like you got to go.
Yeah.
So.
You're good. I wanted to ask. So on this tour, is this the farthest you guys have taken Lustera's music?
Yes, we've gone as far as Ohio. the farthest we've gone up to like Wisconsin, Minneapolis, and we've been out as far east as Akron, Ohio before. But now we're going out to New York, D.C., so we're going way out to the East Coast.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for you guys. Just again, I could get really giddy just hearing where you guys are at as a band and the
You're
talent.
a giddy guy. That's why they call you Giddy Brad.
Exactly, that's my nickname actually. You know, just seeing what you guys get to do with this band that you guys have just poured your hearts and blood into is just really fun. So I am excited for the state of New York and the state of Washington D.C. Even though Washington D.C. isn't a state.
It's that one lady. Like they don't. I think she just represents them, but she can't actually vote. No, I'm pretty sure this is true. We'll Google it.
You could lie to me and I would have no idea. Geography, that is not my thing.
That's not geography, dude. That's politics.
Yeah, exactly. So, what I'm excited about, man, is I get to experience Lustera. So
I was gonna make a joke about how like the minimum degree and educational requirements to become a youth pastor just now, but I'm gonna refrain, even though I kind of just did passive aggressive, like underhanded, but it's okay.
That's all right. The minimum requirements for a drummer in a rock band is to have a really crappy haircut. So,
that's right. Thank you.
You got it shaved. Did you get it shaved a little up higher for this show? Did you get a haircut today?
No, I got a haircut like last week.
It looks like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm gonna rephrase this to a PG version because I want to protect Brad, but I did walk into church once, and he walked up to me and he like leaned in like he was gonna whisper something like private, and he was like, "Hey," and I'm gonna rephrase it, but it was basically, "Hey, do you just like get up in the morning and ask yourself like what's the dumbest I can make my hair look today, and then you do that?" Like that was the first thing he said to me that morning, so set the tone for the rest of the day. But that's why we love him, because we like to. I mean, the band too. We like to, give each other a hard time and dish it out, and we're sarcastic people, but we're friendly. So, all right, man.
All right, dude.
You have a good week. We'll see you in about a week and a half. All right, bye, buddy.